Let's go live. The hell was that? Gotta turn Peter door down. Put my on air sign and we're all ready to go. I think. Where's that little whatever. I forgot how to get that little pop-out menu. Anyway, good evening. How are we today? This is the 26th day, Sunday, the 26th day of March, the year of our Lord 2023. I'm your host, Donnie Maggs, and this is The Wanderings of Don. And I'd like to say hello. Probably, well, I always say, oh, it's probably going to be a short stream or whatever. I don't know. Probably going to be a fairly short stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Pretty much the main issue that or topic that I wanted to discuss today is the imminent end of the WiiU 3DS shop. And I pretty much went ham in purchasing, and I'm probably still not done it. I'm actually thinking of getting, thank you, Peter Door, the Pandora's Tower. I think that's going to be it. Pretty much everything that anything new content wise that I bought, like I was talking about yesterday, I decided to just do already titles that I did not have, stuff that was brand new, and I think everything that I've gotten thus far has been see, flash drives. I'm looking at flash drives as well on here. I'm sure you're crazy on. That was a 2-pack. Anyway, I've been trying to I decided on just stuff that I did not have. I do have to go, and I still have to check my classic systems. And thinking about it, my old my NES is probably, I don't completely trust my Super Nintendo. Still goes. I mean, and including games like Final Fantasy IV, Chrono Trigger, things that have battery backup for saves, still work. Still have my old saves on them. I haven't tried the NES, and I hope I'm not going to kick myself for it. But anyway, a 5-pack. They're all 32 giggers. A 2-pack for 128 giggers. I have to do some more research. I got to get some extra things. But anyway, the bottom line is basically to bring some order to this show, which has lacked order, and it usually does. Um, the Wii U 3DS shops, eShops, are shutting down. And if we know better, uh, or not know better, but we can pretty much bet that um, Nintendo's not going to change their mind at the last second. They're supposed to close on the 27th. I was figuring that it was probably as soon as it turns midnight, perhaps Pacific time. Usually that's when stuff happens a lot of times. Um, that was going to be it, kaput, done, and you no more. Um, no more eShop. From what I've gathered, somebody supposedly um, the word on the street, if you look at various message boards, I don't know where it originated from. It might originate from Reddit, and who knows. But supposedly it's going to be, I think, 8 Eastern time tomorrow night. So you technically have almost another full day. Um, and it's interesting because there actually are several games that are on sale right now. So they actually have a live sale. Most of them are like Capcom games. Um, the thing is, to me, what was the most important factor for me, and it might be different for everybody, is that I wanted to um, I wanted to get buy titles because I didn't want to spend, but I ended up spending over 100, probably going to be close to 140, 150 by the time I'm done on both systems. Mostly did Wii U things, games, and even though there are some games that are actually similar on both, there's no cross buy. Nintendo doesn't do that. So if there's a game that's on one system and on the other, that's the same. Usually, like the classic like virtual console games, you don't just get to buy one and you get both versions, unfortunately. But whatever. The I does not seem at this point that Nintendo's going to wake up and say, "Hey, you know what? We'll leave it on. We'll leave them up longer." It doesn't seem like there's any kind of change of plans. I have not checked, like, say, the Wii store itself. Although, no, actually, I did go on the Wii store because you can actually go into what is it? It's like a Wii emulator on the Wii U, and you can access the store. And it didn't look like there was anything on there. The thing is, I have to still find out on my Wii, but that's a whole other thing. What kind of digital content I got for the Wii. But anyway, it looks like, yeah. So it basically looks like they're gonna shut up shop. It's a done deal tomorrow, and it does not look like they're gonna do what Sony did in keeping, because the store right now is basically how the PSN store is on the Vita. They're no longer supporting it, but you can't directly buy games on there. However, you can, if you want to call it, backdoor it by by going on either using the the PlayStation app, or logging on with one of your other systems and adding funds. Like go on your PS5, adds funds in the PSN. You can just add funds. and then logging on and going into the store in or on the Vita, and you can still buy games. Now you're gonna have to buy them all at whatever the last price was for them. They're not gonna do sales or anything like that. Like one thing I think Nintendo could have made, and even Sony could make, if you're gonna close these stores, you have like some kind of flash mega sale at the end at some point, either you know whenever you at whatever point yeah, and just crash everything as far 80, 90, 95% off. Just crash it all. I mean, there probably can be issues with that as far as trying to with the various publishers, but yeah, it would be nice if you can get. Now there are a bunch of games on there for only a couple bucks, uh, um, but generally speaking, they're not. Even the Nintendo games on there aren't usually too high. I mean, there are still several games that are like full 60, $59.99. But even a lot of the Nintendo um, published titles on there, your Zeldas and things, you can get at um, pretty decent price. So if you have these systems, I would look into it. What I would do is there's several videos, there's several articles. The thing is that where people post their top games that you should get before they close, I would look into basically, for me personally, I looked at whether I had it or not in some form, uh, even emulator to a certain extent. Like that's why I didn't get things like Final Fight 2 and 3. I have them on emulator. I could get them on there, but I never owned them. But I do have them on emulator. I also look at whether they're exclusive, whether I think it'll be ever released again. Like the one Zelda title that I did not have was Spirit Tracks, and I decided to buy that with the knowledge that it's, I guess, possible that they could release it for Switch. The thing is, they're doing a lot through their, which I don't like. I don't agree with. I think it's nice, but I would rather them do, or at least have both options. Where you, like on the Switch, what they're doing, obviously, if you buy Nintendo Online, it allows you to play online games, and you get them, you get to play as much as you want all these different Nintendo classics, and they're up to what they have GBA games on there and stuff. N64. I don't know. I don't have it myself. I did have it for a period of time. I had it for 1 year, I think, right when um, Mario Maker 2 came out, because that was the only way to access anybody's created levels, is you had to have the Nintendo Online. But you don't get to keep those games. And I'm sure it's like a Game Pass or whatever, where if they just want to take some games down, oh, sorry. Now you might be able to, I don't know if you can download them, but you might not have access to them after they take them down. So even if you have it downloaded, you might have to have an active subscription. And even at that point, if they took it off, and I don't know how exactly it works, but the bottom line is I'd rather have them do it this way, where you can opt to buy and own a digital version. So basically, my criteria that I used was A, whether I had it or not. I was looking for games that I did not have access to. B, whether they were rare. You can only get them in one particular area, or if you could still get like a physical version, whether it was extremely expensive, like Radiant Historia, Radiant Historia, no, not Radiant Stories, Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology, Another that I'm looking at is um, Pandora's Tower. You have uh, one that I had already purchased years ago. Would be Metroid Prime Trilogy, the Wii Metroid Prime Trilogy. Uh, if I didn't have Wind Waker HD, I might have gotten it, but I still feel that there's still a chance they re-release that on the Switch. So that's the third criteria. Do you feel that there's a chance that, like, for example, I think that there's a possibility, it's definitely a possibility that in the future, now I don't know, maybe there's some kind of Nintendo uh, contract or clause or some issue, but I think that like the Final Fight games, there's multiple Final Fight. There's not only Final Fight, but you have Final Fight 2 and 3. You have a Final Fight 1 um, Game Boy Advance uh, version. You have Final Fight. What is it called? Final Fight 1, I think, with the word 1 spelled out, and Mighty Final Fight. One of them, or maybe both of them, are NES games. Those might come eventually to some kind of Capcom compilation. Same thing, I think, with the DS Castlevanias, which they did. Obviously, They Konami obviously did the advanced Castlevanias, the 3 Game Boy Advance Castlevanias in a collection. You know, it's not long before they're going to release the DS Castlevanias in a collection. So those you can have. Same thing with the Rebirth. I think the Adventure Rebirth will be included in a collection at some point. Feel reasonably confident on that. Because of that, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go out and spend. Um, Grief. It's taking forever. I'm doing a transfer right now on my WiiU. Because another thing that I found is that obviously they have games that have DLC. And even if you own a game, there's reasonable chance that there will be games. DLC will not be available if you don't own it. And so I checked. Somebody was talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I actually just started playing today. I actually played a bunch of WiiU games today. And I started playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, which at this point is still, I guess that's the only Xenoblade game that is not available on Switch, as far as I know. Not an expert on the series, but there's 4 pieces of DLC that I found by just loading up the game and choosing the option on the main on the title screen to go to the eShop, and it brings you right to where they have that DLC. There's 4 pieces of DLC. I was like, let's see how much money these are. Hopefully some of them are. Well, they're all free. All 4 pieces are free. All 4 DLCs are free. The thing is, they take up like 15 gigs. I almost spit out my coffee at that. I was like, holy shoot. So what I had to do is I had a memory card, not a memory card, flash drive, 32 gig, sitting in my drawer, and it had a Windows 10 recovery on it. So I just formatted it. It also had some PS4 videos of Dragon Quest that I was. I think they should still be on my. I think they're still on my Pro. So I would like to keep those videos, but I'm not gonna go crazy. They're just various boss fights and stuff. Um, and so I just formatted it. So screw it. Just formatted it. The Windows. Well, most of my I'm mostly change over to Windows 11 anyway. But I mean, it's always good to have a backup. But uh, I decided to format it, and now because you also the DLC, I guess because if it's a disk-based game, you have to save it to internal memory. You can't system storage. You can't save it to a USB storage or memory card because I guess you'd also get SD cards for it, and I decided to clear up um, format the USB drive, and I'm moving a bunch of stuff over there. Now that I don't need to. Now I wonder if as long as it's plugged in, obviously it has to be plugged in. But can I play the games that are stored on there, or do I have to retransfer them over? What I'm trying to do is because I couldn't believe that these four DLCs for Xenoblade Chronicles X are 15. You need 15 gigs, and maybe I should have just read the details of each one. It just all it reminded me of it. All I thought it was a bunch of just you know equipment or whatever. It didn't seem like it was like new maps or like a new storyline or something. So I was really surprised at how much content was. I just want to download it just so I have it. It should so that the game or it, it's a so that it's officially attached to my account and profile so that I won't have it because if you don't do it, I would assume it's not going to be available to you. Like if you never downloaded it, because you don't have to purchase it because they're free. They're all free. But if you don't have them somehow, um, if your account's not flagged for them, meaning they you never downloaded them or purchased them or something like that, that you'll never be able to. You won't be able to once the store closes. You won't be able to re-download. You know what I'm saying? Like because just going in and selecting them and then getting to the part where you have to download them. I don't think it essentially officially flags your account that you own them or you know. So just to play it safe, I'm trying to do that. But this transfer of the 15 gigs is going to take forever. They said it could take an hour or more. Oh, I'm at three. Oh, actually, I'm at 3 of 5 now. I don't know what the hell 5 means, but said it could take up to an hour. Oh, good grief. I'll leave it on as long as it takes. But it's just if you I don't again I have no idea uh, how much longer it's going to be. These are going to be up. It is a shame. I mean, I understand from a fiscal standpoint but when you get all this enthusiasm and interest now that you're closing them. Now that you're closing these stores, uh, um, it would be nice to give it some more time. I should have gotten on this shit. I needed to do this. I mean, there's no question. I needed to check it. There's that whole story that if you left your Wii U unplugged for a number of years, it might malfunction. There's supposedly workarounds. Mine was fine. Mine hasn't been plugged in. I don't remember the last time I had it plugged in, but it's been a number of years. There's no question. It's been sitting down in the basement. Um, for a number of years without that being plugged in. So, uh, and it's been fine. I did play, so I briefly alluded to earlier. I did play some games on the Wii U earlier today. I did play some um, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I played on the trilogy. I played. I started Xenoblade Chronicles X. I played a little bit of Spirit Tracks last night. I did buy that Vampire, that Game Gear game. I had to have one Game Gear game. Because I actually have a Game Gear. I have no games for it. I have the Game Gear itself, but I have no games for it. Yeah, Game Gear wasn't something I got cheap or something. Uh, this was after, I think it was after it had already gone out of not out of print. Now after it was a the Sega no longer supported it. We'll say that. I was when I got one, but I never got any games for it. I forget how the hell I came into uh, how I came into it. I got the system and never bought any games. I don't believe. But anyway, yeah, I got this um, what was it Vampire Master of Darkness or something. Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. It's a traditional Castlevania like title. So it was only like $5. I was like, I should get it. But now I'm thinking about getting that Pandora. The last thing I'm thinking about is getting Pandora's Tower and maybe one more small, maybe even a game I already have. And the reason is that Pandora's the issue of having with Pandora's Tower now, as I was looking into it, it looks pretty fun. It looks it's an action RPG. You got these multiple towers you got to go through. There's kind of God of War / Devil May Cry almost flavors to it. It's a Wii game, but the issue and the thing is, you can't get it anywhere else. So you get it digital, or you have to buy the hard disk copy. And this is another $100+ rare, Wii game now. Remember Wii games are so abundant that you can buy them for pennies on the dollar. Now some of them have gone up like tremendously. So the only way you can get this, the problem is that I've now seen is that going into the because I was trying to read up on what gamers were saying about it, try to see if I can sell myself and throw in another 20. And it sounds like not that it sounds like, but the NTSC, the North American version, has some kind of pretty major glitch that stops. I guess if you there's like multiple towers in the game, like the 11th and 12th towers, the Dawn and Shadow towers or something. If you leave them, there's a bug that stops you from re-entering or something like to that effect if you're on the North American game. And there's like 60 different fixes for it, because the bug itself kind of changes. I don't know if it seems like maybe some kind of memory related issue because it affects people differently, and it might affect you like you might find one solution to getting back into this tower where I guess the game freezes or so. I forget if it freezes or something, or crashes or something like that. And the next time you do it, that solution might not work. So it might work the first time or the first couple of times, then it might not work the fourth, fifth, sixth time. It might be something else now that you have to do. So it seems that there's some issue with memory going on there because there's like a ton of different, and there's some that are solutions that are better than others too. The one major thing was that I was trying to look, I was like, well, if that's an issue, does it carry over to the digital one? Because the game originally came out on the Wii in 2011, and then 2015, the digital version of it came out on the WiiU, and the best, it seems like the best solution to it was to purchase the PAL version. So it seems like it because of the fact that the PAL version essentially I think doesn't have this issue, seems that the North American version either has some kind of memory issue going on, or it's a problem with the good grief, the hertz, because I think it's the what is it, the hertz, the refresh rate. I forget. It is different between territories, so there's something going on. It was never, but bottom line is, I wanted to see if it was changed in um, the digital WiiU version, and no, they didn't. They just didn't change it. Yeah, they didn't patch that out, or not patch it out, but they didn't correct the issue. Um, they could have corrected by just having the PAL version available on there. Would have made a difference since I guess since it's an emulation, but whatever. They just never fixed it. So at first I was like, I'm still thinking about getting it. I still may get it because it does. Just have a copy. It's only $20, so it's not a bank breaker at all. But I've already invested over $100 in games, and the thing is, I can keep going. I mean, the problem is I've already bought more than I thought I was going to buy, and I can just keep going. So it's like, where do I gotta tell myself, you gotta stop at some point. Bottom line. So I'm not sure exactly um, where I'm going. I'm leaning towards getting it because this would be the only way to get it, unless I come across again um, a cheap version of it, or because it's the disc version's over $100. It's probably only gonna just get worse again, unless they really, and you never know what's going to be like I saw people. There's people actually buying the Urtree Odyssey games, as well as the Mega Man Battle Network games are all on there too. It's like, why get any of those when the unless you want to again play them on, you only have Nintendo systems, whatever, that's fine. But even a Switch, these games are coming out in HD collections in just a few months. Well, actually, the Battle Network will be out in a couple of weeks, and Urtree Odyssey I think comes out in June. So why buy those? But anyway, I've gone way too long tonight. But if I decide to maybe I'll review everything that I get maybe tomorrow in tomorrow's show, But anyway, been on long enough. I gotta go keep checking this, and we'll see what happens once I can get this transfer, and then I can download that DLC. But I guess that's it. I'm gonna wrap up this episode. I'll have a good night, and I'll see you on the next show. Until next time, have a good night, and may the Lord be with you.